standing by the pine tree, empty-handed. Tears began leaking from my eyes. That always happened. Not actual crying or sobbing, just an inside sorrow pushing itself up through my tear ducts. Before I got really depressed when I stood at the top of the slide. That's how I thought of serious depression. The real thing, not just sadness. I thought of it as a big, tall, stainless steel slide slicked with ice. And once you let go of the supports and started down, there was no stopping or going back till you hit the bottom. My dad found me standing by the pine tree. He must have sped home to get here so fast. He wore his office clothes, a tweed sports coat, and the striped tie I'd given him for Christmas a few years ago. He was the most mild-mannered dad ever, but his expression was wild. Worry, panic. That made my eyes stream even more. "Maia," he said, freezing in place before lurching forward and grabbing me in a hug. Then I really started to cry. He smelled like our family, the way we had been, the woods, a salt marsh, the cabin of a sailboat and a breaching whale. Having him hold me so close made me think of the three of us, our little unit that was never supposed to break apart. "What's wrong, honey?" he asked. "What happened?" I mumbled something, not real words, because there were no words. Nothing had happened. Not one thing I could point to and say, that's the reason. If I could, then I could fix it. But this was more like a gigantic, unending, ugly swamp reaching out as far as my eyes could see. I couldn't tell him that because he'd be driving me to Turner before I knew it. "Come inside," he said, arms still around my shoulders, practically carrying me up the back porch steps and into the kitchen door. When I saw Astrid standing there in the middle of the room, her hands clasped at her chest as if she was both praying and feeling left out, I closed my eyes. My dad made me sit down at the kitchen table. "Bad idea, Dad," I wanted to say. There was my mother's empty chair directly opposite me. "My stomach hurts," I said, bending over so my head touched my knees. "I told Astrid, and that's all it is. You didn't have to come home." "She was sitting in the garage, Andrew," Astrid said, talking to Jillian as if she was right there. Trust me, I knew she wasn't right there. "And you don't have to speak as if I'm not here," I said. "I'm sorry," Astrid said. "Maia, I just can't bear to think of you hurting yourself. That's why I called your dad." "I told you what I was doing." "I firmly believe," Astrid said slowly, addressing me, but with her eyes locked on my dad's, "that we have to take your cries for help very seriously." "It wasn't a cry for help," I said, jumping up. "They take such good care of you at Turner," she said. That was so typical, I thought. Astrid wanting to get rid of me so she could be alone with my dad. She probably hoped I'd stay there forever. I pictured those snake pit movies where the patients were in straitjackets and had lobotomies. Even though Turner was nothing like that. "They do, sweetheart," my dad said, sitting beside me, taking my hand. "Do you think you should go in?" "I don't," I said. "Please don't send me." He was silent. He stroked the back of my hand with his thumb. It comforted me so much. The tears began streaming harder. A paradox. I stared at him, his face blurred. He had hazel eyes, curly graying brown hair, and a long nose. That's something he, my mother, and I had in common. Our noses. Seeing the gray in his hair hurt my heart. I didn't want him to